Hey, everybody. I'm here for our next episode at Woodford County Middle School of the Kids Win podcast. We're excited to talk about our Portrait of a Learner today with some of our Woodford County Middle School students, and excited also to talk about what a creative problem solver will be. So not only will we have a chance to talk to some of our students, we'll talk to Miss Rebecca Preston, our newly hired principal here. She's been on the job now about 5 months, 6 months, somewhere in that neighborhood. So we'll also, at the end, have a very special treat where we recognize some guys that have pulled off a major accomplishment this weekend. So join us, listen in, and enjoy.
The Kids Win Podcast.
Okay, so I'm here at Woodford County Middle School with Leah and Sloan today. Thank you, girls, by the way, for being on the podcast. But we want to talk a little bit about our Portrait of a Learner. Have you seen any of this in your classes? Have you seen this around school?
Definitely.
What about, do you have maybe a sticker or a graphic that goes on the back of your of your laptop or your device? Did you get one of those?
Yes.
Because we have some of those available. So if you didn't, just let us know and we'll get you one. Have you heard anything in your classes about how this Portrait of a Learner is going to make us better citizens? Not just better citizens, but better employees, better students, better neighbors. Have y'all talked anything about that?
I'd say somewhat.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So the piece we want to talk about today is called Creative Problem Solver. Now, we problem solve every day. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. Especially when we're in our classes. Can you give me an example, Sloan, of being a creative problem solver in one of your classes?
Well, we're working on a bookshelf project, and we couldn't figure out how to get anybody to remember to bring paint. So we instead used brown paper.
Wow, so you wrapped it then.
Yes.
So you found out, much like we talk about, we could have our car painted or we could have it wrapped. And it still looks really good. And probably the wrap's a little cheaper than car paint. And I hope there's no auto body specialists listen to this because they'll be mad at me for downing their work, won't they? What about you? Leah, do you see a point anywhere in your classes where you become a creative problem solver?
So we have a lot of projects going on, and there's only like 16 kids in our class. So some kids have to move around to different groups.
To help out. So what you're seeing is that as the need arises, then we move folks into those areas. What class are you talking about doing the projects? Leadership. Is that the same one with the bookshelf?
Yes.
That's awesome. So what are you going to do with the bookshelf when it's done? Now that creates another problem, doesn't it? So what are we going to do with that?
It's supposed to be an anti-bullying campaign. So basically, we're just going to write positive words on the books, on the book spines. Mm-hmm. So, and then we're going to hang it up.
Well, that's awesome. That's very exciting. So, looking back, are there other places other than the classroom, just thinking, where we all become creative problem solvers? What about maybe in gym class? The gym teacher's giving you a little bit of time to maybe play basketball or whatever. You have to come up with ways to create teams, right? Mm-hmm. So you're problem solving. Somebody just give me something out of the blue, Sloan, that you can think of.
When I'm behind on my homework, I have to sign up for a certain win time so that I have enough time to complete it. But if I sign up for the wrong one, then I don't have enough time. So you have to really think about what you're signing up for.
So you're really having to deduce, I guess you would say, think critically about that as to where you need to be. Leah, what about you? One thing, and then we'll let you ladies get back to class.
In reading, we have stations, and it gets kind of confusing because we have 3 stations, but 2 of them only go for 10 minutes. So we have to make sure that everyone's in the right station.
Mm-hmm. So what you're doing, and you're not only at that point problem solving, but you're just being a good neighbor, just helping people out, being kind. Ladies, thank you very much for being on the podcast with us. You have done an excellent job of telling us what a creative problem solver is and how that looks. So thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, girls. I now have Everto and Matthew with me, and we're still here at the middle school talking about our Portrait of a Learner and being a creative problem solver. So as we look at our skills here, some of our standards, I guess you would say, These are all built into our education process to help us become better citizens, better neighbors, better students, and better employees. So this can help us throughout our whole life. Now, not just you guys here, Verto, at the middle school, but everybody in Woodford County are working on these same competencies or skills. So what we're trying to do is we're talking about from kindergarten to 12th grade. So they're all seeing the same kind of thing. Have you guys been introduced to this in your classes?
For sure, yes.
For sure. Do you have one of the stickers on the back of your device? Do you have one? If not, we're going to get you one.
I lost mine.
You lost yours? I've got mine on my iPad. I think I put it on upside down, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so tell me a little bit about, Matthew, what you see in class that makes you a problem solver, a creative problem solver.
Well, if like a person is having trouble, or if you're having trouble, you might need to find another way to answer the problem or fix the problem.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. This is something that I haven't talked about yet, but a lot of times we use trial and error, right, Alberto, to solve problems.
Yeah.
I know if I'm going to buy shoes and I don't know what size shoe I wear, maybe I start with a 10 and I can't get my foot in it. So I go back and I get an 11. I'm getting closer now, but I get a 12 and it's perfect. So that trial and error, that makes me a problem solver. I'm not sure how creative I could be if I didn't know my shoe size, but it does make me a problem solver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alberto, tell me something that you may see in class that has helped you to become a creative problem solver.
So when people are like having trouble with their work or schoolwork or just our projects that we have in leadership, in order to be a creative problem solver, you have to like know what you're doing, and if they don't, then like help them or just give them an idea of what to do.
And you kind of have to know what you're looking for, right? And how to get there. I think that's one of the things that's the beauty of projects. We talk about the value of experiences, and projects create those experiences, right, Matthew?
Yeah.
Just like we were talking earlier about creating this bookshelf, and we want to wrap it with brown paper instead of paint it because we had a hard time of remembering to bring paint, but paint's kind of messy too.
Yeah.
So probably for our best solution here, I think you guys have decided to go with wrapping it with brown paper. So just a lot of things that we do from day to day. On your lunch tray, Alberto, what's it look like on your lunch tray? They give you everything that they offer. You go sit down, and maybe you've never seen a star fruit before, but you're going to try it. I don't like it. So you're going through the tray, and you're making decisions, right?
Yeah.
You're becoming a problem solver as to what you want to have for lunch. Give me one big example, Matthew, of being a creative problem solver that you've either done in your class or outside of class here at school.
Well, I play football, and I'm kind of small, so it's hard to tackle people who are bigger than me. But I found that tackling people from like their ankles or knees is easier than tackling them from their waist down. So I've been tackling them from their ankles.
So that's a prime example of being a creative problem solver. I bet your coach helped you with that too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Alberto, one example. Give me
Yeah.
one good example.
So like with Matthew, he plays football. I play soccer, and I'm really an all-rounder, but I mainly go in goal. So the solution that I have to do is I have to know where the ball is going and where they're gonna like place it. So I usually look at their feet and look how the ball is placed and look where they're placed. So if they're like lined up more to the left, it's probably gonna go to the left. But if they're right, it's probably gonna go more to the right.
That's a great example. Both of you have given great examples. So as we think about then how this helps us in life, it's not just something we use in school, is it?
No.
It's not just something we use. It's something that we use every day, probably quite a bit more than we know. Thank you guys very much. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Miss Preston, the first-year principal over here at Woodford County Middle School. I won't say that she's new to the middle school, though, because she had been here before. Tell us a little bit about your background here at the middle school.
Yeah, so I taught here for 7 years. Started teaching at a Catholic school in Lexington. Knew that I wanted to be in a public school. I'm a product of public schools, and I just knew that that's where my heart was. Taught high school. Always said I would never teach middle school, and my mom said, "Give it a shot." And I loved it. I fell in love with them. And I just grew as a teacher here and grew to love the community and the people in the building. Always said, I'm never going to be a principal. And then I took that step, and I had a principal at the time push me in that direction and just tell me, you are going to be a principal. You were made to be a leader, and that's what you're going to do. So I listened, and I followed, and I have fallen in love with that as well. So I went to the high school, and I was an AP there for 2 years, and I am so excited to be back here.
And I will say this about Ms. Preston. I do feel like she is an excellent principal, and she is a born leader. So proud of the work
Thanks.
you're doing. We're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to the future here at Woodford County Middle School. So let's talk a little bit about our Portrait of a Learner. What's been your insight to that as to what you've seen just in this short few months that we've implemented this?
Yeah, so my biggest takeaway from this is stuff that we were already doing. This is stuff that my teachers are doing in the classroom just without the title of Portrait of a Learner. And so that's been our biggest push, is just helping teachers to realize these are things that you're doing in your class already. Let's name it. Let's help the kids make the connection to what we're doing in the classroom now is going to help you when you get out of the classroom in the future. So.
Absolutely, and I love the point that you made. It's things that we're already doing.
Yeah.
Making that connection is very important. And I feel like the reason for that is because it does invoke that deeper learning aspect.
Yeah.
We're not just raking the coals right now. We've got the shovel out, and we're digging very deep into not just our standards, but the things we can do to be better human beings, better citizens, better employees, as we've
Right.
said before. Tell me, we're talking a little bit about the creative problem solver. So tell me what role that has played for you in your success.
Woo. When I was preparing for my interview and preparing to, make that step to come back over here, I did I did some questioning. I talked to people about what was happening. After I was offered the position, I set up interviews with teachers, and I just said, come and talk to me. Come and tell me what's going really well. Tell me some things that we need to work on. Tell me what you love about Woodford County Middle School. And I had, probably half the staff came and sat down and had just an open conversation with me. And that was so insightful, but it was also so encouraging that it just showed that people really love this place. The teachers that are here, they love this place. They want us to be successful. They want to just do good. And so, I looked at those problems, and I have tried to be creative about ways to solve them and ways to just build that culture.
But even just looking at your approach to finding out what the problem was is a prime example of being a creative problem solver. Yeah. It goes back to leading to success. It's just being a creative problem solver is not just, it hasn't helped you and I just to be successful. It's helped us to be better human beings,
right,
and better citizens. And that's what we expect from our students as well.
Yep.
We hear the workforce and employers talk so much about the lack of the soft skills or the life skills for that matter. And that's what this all builds in. Mm-hmm. These are the things we're already doing in the classroom. We just need our students to understand that, hey, you may not think you're a good communicator, but every day you do this.
Right.
Or you do this piece. You know how to do this. And it's not just the things that we're honing for you. We're giving you opportunities, and you're taking advantage of it. So that's the beauty of Portrait of a Learner, deeper learning.
Right.
I think Scott Hunley said that experiences are much more important than just sitting in a classroom being lectured to. So that's what this brings to the table.
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I'm excited for just the impact that it's going to have on our school and how we do school and how things are going at the middle school. So I'm just excited for what that's going to look like.
7 or 8 years from now, when I'm probably in my nursing home, I'll get to look back and say, hey, these are things that we put in place that have really helped our students to become better citizens. So
I believe it.
thank you, and thank you for what you do, and we're so excited to see what you're bringing to the future at Woodford County Middle School.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am here at Woodford County Middle School today with some of our state champion football players. So excited for you guys, so excited for the school because you've had a ton of support. I know I was talking to Miss Preston. She was over at the game. I was talking to some of the board members. They were there. Just very exciting for our community, what you guys have been able to do. Neo, tell us a little bit about the season and what it looked like to get to this championship.
Well, see, we would really get through the season. It felt really quick, to be honest, because it was our last year playing middle school football. But it was really fun because I got to play with this guy, Chris. He scores the touchdowns. And when we got to the state regional, was it the second round of the playoffs? Yeah, in the third.
That was Johnson County, am I correct? Which is from the end of the county that I'm from, and they are typically a powerhouse in football. So,
They were. But when we really noticed when we were gonna win the state championship is when we beat them 36 to nothing.
36. I was thinking it was 38 to nothing.
Yeah, 38 to
But,
nothing.
Yeah, their superintendent reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, tell those guys to take it easy on us." But anyway, it was very exciting. Chris, I hear you're the one that scores the touchdowns. How many touchdowns did you have in that championship game?
4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
Yes,
Wow. Now, Cameron, throughout the game, I know I was following online. I wasn't able to be here, and I apologize for that, but we do have something special for you guys that we're going to do for you. But was it at halftime? You guys were down 16-6, maybe?
Yes, sir.
What can you tell me a little bit about what maybe spurred that comeback other than Chris scoring 4 touchdowns? I mean, what spurred that? Was there something Coach said or something you guys just decided you had to do?
At halftime, Coach had a speech, and he's this the great parts of football, being down. And then right when we came out of half, we got the ball. Yeah, we got the ball from I think a kickoff.
No, I had strip. It was a strip.
Yeah,
I
it was
had
a strip sack. And then we drove down the field. Then we didn't score, but we held them to 4th down. They were punting, and the snap went over the punter's head, and we got the safety. And then we got the ball back, and that's really what.
That was the turning point, huh?
Yeah, that
Right.
safety was crucial.
Jack, what role do you play on the team, or your line? What position do you play?
I play offensive line and defensive line.
So then you open the holes so Chris can score the
I
touchdowns.
played defense that game.
Okay, so you played on the defensive side.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Stuffed
he
the
stuffed the whole he doesn't.
Gotcha. He
make
doesn't let it
work.
get through. So you probably had a little bit of played a little bit of that in that snapper's head as to when he throws it over the kicker's head, right? Yeah. So you probably had a little bit to do with that. But just looking at the championship, tell me, I want to get all 4 of your reactions, and we can do that at just as you choose, or just tell me your thoughts about what it's like to be a champion.
Great, to be honest. See, this is only my second year in Kentucky, so I came up here, and then we lost in the state semifinals last year. That hurt really bad. So when we came to the state semifinals this year, and we won 38, repeating what I said, won 38 to nothing. We were we really this is where we can really win this. And then when we went into the Perry game, we had got the opening kickoff. I had grabbed it was he kicked it deep and I had got it, and then Chris scored, but it got called back. And when that got called back, that's when everything started going downhill. And then really in the second half, what Cam had said, Coach said he said being down and be able to come back. That's Woodford football right there. He doesn't like blowout games how we had against Jessamine. What was the score? 90?
72.
It was
72-0.
He said he didn't like games like that. He liked close games like that. And
I think it gives the team an opportunity to grow and get better. Close games too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can't get better by just playing people that are worse than you.
Sure. So Jack, real quick, I know Jack through his brothers, His brother's, one of them's, I guess, is he a senior at the high school this year?
Next year.
Next year. But then Grant is over at Georgetown, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I got to know his brothers and his family since I've been here. So I'm just now getting to know you guys. But just knowing the tradition, you know a little bit about the tradition, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Of playing Frederick Douglass last year in the semifinals, of playing South Warren the year before. Jack, you may have been a part of that. Do you recall when we gave the team from the school over to the stadium, the big parade, and everybody's out on the streets? And that's Woodford football. That's Woodford football. That's what you guys have to look forward to. And we look forward to doing those things with you and for you. We've talked about a portrait of a learner. I'm going to pull that in here a little bit, just a little bit. We've talked about a portrait of a learner, and today's piece was about being a creative problem solver. Okay? Cameron's told us a little bit. Y'all had a problem to solve at halftime, didn't you?
A big one.
Yeah, you had a problem to solve. And it sounded like just with hard-nosed play, you strip and recover, and just those kinds of things that really turn the tide in a football game. I'm going to ask Chris, since he's the touchdown scorer, he gets all the publicity. Tell me about how big momentum and the momentum change or shift is in football.
Well, so if players or a team have like a good player, and like say if I get hurt, our team motivation is going to go down because I mainly score all the touchdowns. But they need to keep their head up even if they do or don't have me, because, we're still a team. And it's not just about one player, it's about everybody on the field. And just like halftime, right before halftime, we rearranged our defense, and that's what will be able to stop us, because we know putting in the best people will allow our team to win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So your coach, Coach Thomas, is a pretty good creative problem solver, isn't he?
Really
He's been
is.
very successful over the last 3 or 4 years, and we're just proud of what he's been able to do and what he's been able to do with you guys. And we're proud of you. And I told you, we may not have, Coach Johnson may not have told you this yet, but we do have something planned for you, something we'll do to celebrate this championship season. Kentucky Middle School, Division I, 8th grade championship. 8th grade champions right here. Thank you guys for what you brought to the program. We look forward to what you do at the high school level. Coach Johnson's a great coach too. He's a great problem solver. It's exciting to see what you guys have in front of you. It is. Proud of you, and thank you all for just representing our school system and Woodford County Middle School with such great pride and integrity. So thank you. Thank you guys for listening to our Kids Win podcast. We love the idea of getting to highlight our students, and not just their intelligence and their creative abilities, but also their successes. We love to get to celebrate students and celebrate all the great things going on here in Woodford County Schools. So thank you for listening, and be sure to check us out next time. See ya.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Kids Win podcast, provided by Woodford County Public Schools. Join us next time as we showcase the talents of our amazing students here in Woodford County Public Schools, where kids win.